Hello everyone and welcome back. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Knafs lander. And this was originally supposed to be a super secret squirrel video for Dad, but I had already given him his gift about a year ago and life kind of happened. So here we are. Power through those close-ups with me and we'll get started. The knife that I'm going to be doing a review on today is called the Lander, and it is from Knafs Co. Knafs is a relatively new company with some not so new creators. The owners of the company are Ben Peterson and his wife Athena, and if you're new to the EDC community, you'll start to hear a lot of talk about Ben, who also goes by the nickname of Ben Banters. He's a pretty well-known fellow due to his time spent doing the marketing for Blade HQ and CRKT, where he was in hundreds of YouTube videos. He then partnered with We Knives / Svivi to produce a few of his own knife designs, and after those designs were a big hit, Ben created Knafs Co. as his own knife brand. There's a lot more information on their journey so far on their website, and the link, as always, is in the description. Let me get back to the knife that I'm looking at today. This is the Lander, named after the Lunar lander that NASA astronauts used to safely land on the surface of Earth's moon. The Lander opens by using this thumb stud that you see here on the side, either side of the blade, and the knife securely locks open with a Lunar lock. So that is a locking mechanism that is a piece of steel that lines the inside of the handle scales to hold the blade in place. And this is a secure and easy to use locking mechanism, and unless you're clumsy like me, you'll do just fine. The other part that I would like to mention is that this runs on ball bearings, which gives a very nice smooth action when opening or closing the knife. The blade shape is a simple drop point with a flat grind, which is great for everyday needs such as opening mail and regretting those late night Etsy purchases, or even opening those stubborn chip bags. This knife is relatively compact with a blade length of 2.75 inches and an overall length of 6.4 inches. And if you're looking for a smaller knife, see the review I did recently on the Baby Banter, the most adorable and tiny knife for tiny-handed people like myself. This is also a knife that was designed by Ben Banters, if the name didn't already give that away. The blade steel is one that I think is great. The original version of the Lander came in D2, and while D2 is a good tool steel to have, it's not always a steel that works for everyday environment, as it is only semi-stainless. The Lander that I have here is actually Sandvik 14C28N. Now, you may be asking, Petite, what is the difference and why do I care? So 14C28N is a Swedish steel made by a company called Sandvik, and the benefits to this steel are that it has a better toughness and corrosion resistance than D2, but it does have a bit of a lower edge retention, but it is a popular blade steel that isn't going to break your budget. Other knives I have reviewed that also come in Sandvik are the Damn Design School. He's so cute. And the smaller version of the petrified fish beluga. Next is the handle scales, and this is where it gets interesting. The handle that it originally came with is Jade G10, and it's because I have no self-control when it comes to Jade G10. So for my dad's super secret squirrel purchase, I ended up getting him the green micarta version. I'll go over the difference between JG10 and micarta. So micarta is a great material that I've explained a few times before, but for those who may be first-time viewers, it is a composite that is formed using natural materials such as burlap, canvas, linen, or even paper. It's then soaked in resin and then compressed in a sheet and smooshed, if you will. Think of it like lasagna, where the pasta is the natural material and the sauce is the resin. However, I think Italians may not appreciate it if you smushed lasagna. Dad would be very sad. This material dates back to the 1910s, making it over 100 years old, And it makes for an amazing handle material because it actually gets grippier when it's wet and it's very strong, but it's considered a softer material as opposed to the popular G10. Jade G10, however, is a lightweight, durable material made out of fiberglass and resin. It is what is called natural G10 with no pigments added in to make another color. Now, you may be saying, yeah, what's the interesting part that you alluded to earlier? Well, this knife is unique in that it is one of the only knives that I've seen before where designers have created something called fast swapping handle scales. So let me break this down a little bit. If you have ever tried to replace any handle scales on your knife before, you most likely have had to completely disassemble the knife. With the Lander's fast swap system, you just have to undo the 2 screws on each side and the ones on the pocket clip. And then you can take the scales off without having to take the whole knife apart. And this is very convenient and saves the headache of losing small parts or screws or ball bearings. And you won't have to recenter the blade since you didn't have to take the pivot screw out. So let me show you how to do this. It's very easy. Ta-da! And then I'm gonna put the jade back on because I'm back on my bullshit. Since they made it super easy to swap the scales, obviously Knafs has a bunch of different options to choose from on their site. The nice part is that a lot of the scales are fun and diverse. There's cats, there's sheep, and space-themed ones, and I guarantee they will come out with some of the limited edition patterns and prints, as well as the ones that are made by cool artists, because Ben made the designs of the scales open source. So that means anyone can download the files needed to machine or 3D print their own scales for the Lander in whatever color or material that they want. P.S. Don't tell Dad, or I will have to buy a 3D printer and I will have to make him a bunch of scales. So let me show you another feature that I like on here, and that's actually the deep carry pocket clip. Having the deep carry pocket clip is great because it means the knife can hide and not stick out of your pockets. Now, for those who don't know, girl pants are stupid, TM. And the pockets are either stupid small, and I can't even fit a chapstick, or they don't exist at all. Why? Because that's how you sell as purses. Okay, now I'm moving off my soapbox. The Lander is a very compact knife. It's not as small as the Baby Banter, but it is not as big as they say the damn design's basilisk is. So, I mean, size-wise. But let's do some comparisons, though, with some other knives, such as the Spyderco Paramilitary 2, the big one, the Civivi Elementum, my favorite, always a favorite, and the Civivi Baby Banter. Look at how cute it is. So little. As you can see, it's pretty similar in size to the Elementum. So it may just be able to fit in the practically non-existent pockets that some of you might also have on your pants. So as an additional nice feature, the pocket clip is ambidextrous. Yay! The price on this, like I mentioned, is really reasonable. For the micarta scales and the Sandvik blade steel on Dad's model, the knife retails at about $80. And if you get one of the D2 and G10 models, they're even more affordable at around $58. So let me dig into some of the things that I really like and some of the things that I think could be improved on. So for me, the blade steel is really good. I really like the knives that I have for my EDC kits that are made in this blade steel, and I do hope more companies start to make knives with this steel in the budget range. And we all know that I love to customize everything. So to be able to easily swap the handle scales to fit my mood or the kit that I want to have for the day, it's a lot more reasonable than buying multiple copies of the same knife. Additionally, I like the size of it, and even though the original video I was going to make was for a gift, I had to get my own too, because duh. The other thing as well, because I always like to jump on this soapbox, is they put a spacer, and I love that they didn't leave that empty. That is just a little piece of extra chef kiss right there that really ties this whole thing together for me. As for some things that I think could be improved on, I don't really feel like I have any. The knife is made well. It has a lot of thought behind the overall design, the aesthetics, and how it feels to use. I think maybe for me, maybe a flipper tab, because I prefer flipper tabs, but other than that, I don't really have anything else. I think that Knafs has really come to the market with something that's versatile, well made, and they continue to improve and listen to their customers over time. That to me is what really sets them apart and makes them respectable and trustworthy. Now you may be wondering, where are those fancy scales that you mentioned at the beginning, baiting me into watching this whole video just to make the analytics gods of YouTube happy? Well, it was going to be a Father's Day gift to my dad, hence why I had to keep it a secret, and I didn't want you all to tell Dad. So I decided to get him the knife, and I even got him swappable scales in the cool trout pattern that they had, because duh, he likes fishing. So that's it. That's all I got. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. As always, I try to end with something inspirational, something nice, because everything is still a raging dumpster fire for some reason. So my inspiration or cheat code for you today is to try hydroponically grown plants next time you want to try out to grow some herbs. Hear me out. I love basil, but every time I try to get the little plant at the grocery store, I always end up murdering it on accident. I picked up a hydroponically grown basil plant by accident, and so far it's still going. So go ahead and give it a try if you have a hard time keeping plants alive. Since we're at the end, if you could please subscribe or share my channel or videos with your friends and lady friends, I would appreciate it. Additionally, there's also my Instagram where you may or may not see random cat-related gifts and sweet EDC pictures and more. So thank you everyone for taking the time and making it to the end. My self-esteem thanks you. And plus the pocket script. Pocket script, wow. And for those who don't know, girl pants are stupid, TM, and the pockets are either as you can see, it is pretty similar in size.